So earlier this week, there was rampant rumours that there was going to be a trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu. It didn't quite come out when people were expecting it to, but it has now been released. Rumours are, again, rumours, that this is going to be a brand new trailer. There was a trailer shown at Celebration in Japan earlier this year. I've read descriptions of that trailer, but not actually seen it. Trying to keep away from, spoilerific stuff if I can help it. So it would be nice if it was a new trailer, because it would give us something that we're not expecting. Again, I'm kind of on the line here with The Mandalorian and Grogu. I still don't think it's a great title for the movie. I'm still a bit skeptical about, where we sit with the Mandoverse. Season 1, Season 2, vastly different in quality to Season 3, in my opinion. And to be fair, even Season 1 and Season 2, there's a stark difference in quality between those two. But I'm hopeful that this is going to return to the roots of what really made The Mandalorian great, which is just a self-contained story based on this kind of Western vibe. And it's just about the two characters. It's about, Din Djarin and Grogu. There's no bigger themes of bringing in the Jedi. There's no kind of, galactic conflict. It's just kind of a nice little story that can be told in the space of a couple of hours and just get us back to where we need to be with regards to Star Wars at the cinema. It is kind of mad to think that next year we've got a new Star Wars film coming out in the pictures. Like, it's not been, it's 6 years. It'll be in December since The Rise of Skywalker, since the last film came out. And I get it's not the same. It's not a saga film. The excitement's not quite the same around it, but I'm still relatively excited for the prospect of something new in the cinema to go and watch. So why don't we jump into the trailer, see what it's about. Okay. Babu Frick. Well, there's Ripley. Definitely is a different trailer, I think. I love the soundtrack. Zeb! Zeb!
Impressive.
Okay. Wow, those are chunky boys. Okay. Yeah. But they're still sticking with the title, just a different design.
Good shot, baby.
Okay, so definitely is a different trailer. From the description of the one from Celebration, it feels like, there was a lot of stuff still in there from that, but a few extra tidbits. And it feels like this is very much going for, I know there's elements of the Empire still in there, but it feels like it is trying to go back to, a unique story that keeps the scale kind of small. Lots of practical creatures in there, which is always a nice thing to see. Interesting monster designs is, something I always look for. One thing I know is going to be great is the soundtrack. Getting to actually listen to that soundtrack in a cinema is going to be, a really unique experience, because it's one thing to listen, in your own headset and, at home, but to get that full cinematic experience, and, at the end there it said it was made for IMAX, so I'll probably go and see it in IMAX as well. But there was a few interesting bits in there. I think Zeb, getting to see him, like, in combat, live action, dancing around, he was jumping on the walls there. That's going to be quite exciting. So clearly they're going to try and tie in more of the New Republic forces in that way. Some interesting robots in there, some really chunky robots. I'm going to assume that's all down to this gladiator style tournament that seems to be going on, where we saw the buff hut, and there's clearly something that they've got to go after, something they've got to get, and people of interest as well are going to be layered through that story. But it was, to be honest, I'll say that it was quite limited in what it actually showed us, considering that, is it actually labelled as a teaser or a full-on trailer? No, it's an official trailer. So it was 1.5 minutes long. Obviously, when you add in logos and the end segment to show the date and the title card, it's probably closer to about 1 minute 10 seconds. And there wasn't a great deal of voiceovers, not telling you much about the plot. It's just showing you some of the tidbits of the action. One thing I knew was that we were getting a Razor Crest again, which I'm kind of torn on. It's like, okay, does this feel like another thing where they've gone, we made a bit of a mistake in destroying that, so let's bring it back because it feels good for the fans? And I'm like, okay, yeah, the Razor Crest is cool. It's a great ship. But at the same time, are we better just to move on, and once you've made a choice, stick with it? Stick with the Starfighter? I don't know. What was interesting is that there seemed to be a little bit of a yellow and chrome design on the top of the Razor Crest that wasn't there with the first Razor Crest. So whether that's them trying to pay tribute to the Naboo Starfighter that he had, I don't know. Maybe it's just them trying to make it different. But it did stand out to me that was something that they're trying to do to differentiate the fact that, well, this is a Razor Crest, but it's slightly different. Other than that, there wasn't really too much to go off. Babu Frick obviously is in this, and I think we knew for a while that was going to be the case. But other than seeing Sigourney Weaver, who, again, I think is going to be tied into the New Republic, not really much on other characters, and again, overall plot. So they're keeping the content light, which is fine. An interesting change on the style of the movie card at the end, the logo, as you might call it. It was definitely going for I don't know, even maybe a 50s or 60s kind of Monster Mash style design. I still think they could do with changing the name, but they're not going to do that at this point now. It feels like they've locked in on the Mandalorian and Grogu, so that's kind of, it is what it is. I mean, it's not going to affect my enjoyment of the movie. I just think it could roll better off the tongue. But as long as the movie's good, I don't think anyone's going to care. It's too early again to reserve any kind of judgment, but so far, I'd say I'm tentatively excited. I'm hoping that we're going to be back on form, back to the classic Mandalorian quality. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you for whatever comes next.